The film begins with a storybook opening. A kind king and queen were traveling through a heavy snowstorm. During the storm, the queen gave birth to a baby girl. They named her Snow White because she was born while the snow was falling. As Snow White grew up, she became close with the people of the kingdom. Everyone loved her, and the kingdom was full of joy. The people often celebrated together with songs and dancing. But one day, the good queen became very sick and passed away. The king was heartbroken, but after some time, he married again. His new wife was a very beautiful woman who had magical powers. At first, she seemed kind, but once she became queen, her true nature was revealed. She was cruel, selfish, and full of pride. The new queen wanted to be the most beautiful woman in the land. She owned a magic mirror that could speak. Every day, she asked the mirror who was the fairest of them all, and the mirror would answer. The queen was happy as long as the mirror said she was the fairest. The queen tricked the king into going on a journey to the south, saying there was a great danger. The king said goodbye to Snow White and left, but he never came back. No one heard from him again. With the king gone, the evil queen took full control of the kingdom. She ruled harshly, using her power to take more and more from the people. Farmers and shopkeepers were forced to give up their land and work as guards for her. The people were heavily taxed, and many became poor. The queen was jealous of Snow White's growing beauty. To keep her safe from the queen's anger, Snow White was hidden away in the castle and forced to work as a scullery maid, doing cleaning and hard chores. The once happy kingdom became dark and full of sorrow. The people no longer smiled or celebrated. The queen cared only about her beauty and power, and hope in the kingdom began to fade. One day, a bandit named Jonathan sneaks into the castle. He is hungry and starts stealing food from the kitchen. But before he can escape, the evil queen catches him. To show the rest of the kingdom what happens to thieves, she ties Jonathan to the castle gate as a warning to others. Snow White sees this and feels sorry for him. She goes to the queen and gently asks her to show kindness. Snow White tries to explain that the people of the kingdom are suffering and need help. But the evil queen does not care. She ignores Snow White's words and walks away. Outside the castle, she sings about her wish to bring about a great change. While the queen is gone, Snow White sneaks over to Jonathan. She unties him and gives him some bread to take with him. Jonathan thanks her and runs away. Later, the evil queen speaks to her magic mirror. This time, the mirror tells her that Snow White is now the fairest in the land. The queen becomes angry and jealous. She calls for the huntsman and gives him a terrible order. He must take Snow White into the woods, kill her, and bring back her heart in a box. The next day, the huntsman finds Snow White picking apples in the forest. He raises his weapon, but Snow White does not scream or run. Instead, she calmly asks him why he wants to hurt her. The huntsman is shaken by her kindness and bravery. He tells her that the evil queen ordered him to do it. But he cannot go through with it. Instead, he tells Snow White to run far away and hide in the forbidden forest, where the queen will not find her. Snow White runs into the trees, beginning her escape. Snow White runs through the dark forest, trying to escape. The trees seem to move and reach for her, and she becomes frightened. But soon, woodland animals appear. They are drawn to her gentle heart and kind nature. The animals can tell she needs help, so they lead her through the forest to a small cottage. Snow White goes inside the cottage. She is tired and scared, so she lies down on one of the beds and quickly falls asleep. Meanwhile, 7 dwarfs, Doc, Grumpy, Happy, Sneezy, Bashful, Sleepy, and Dopey, are on their way to work in the diamond mines. Each dwarf has a magic mark on their hand, and when they touch the diamonds, the gems shine and react to their magic. After a long day in the mine, the dwarfs return home. When they enter the cottage, they are shocked to find someone sleeping in their beds. They think Snow White is a thief and panic. All of them run away, except for Dopey, who accidentally gets locked inside the room with her. But when he looks at her closely, he realizes she is kind and harmless. The other dwarfs slowly return. Dopey shows them that she means no harm. Snow White wakes up and meets them all. Most of the dwarfs are happy to welcome her, but Grumpy is unsure. He says that her being there might bring danger. Snow White offers to leave, but then she tells them who she really is, the lost princess. When the dwarfs hear this, they change their minds. They decide to protect her from the evil queen and keep her safe in their cottage. Back at the castle, the evil queen speaks to her magic mirror again. The mirror tells her that Snow White is still alive. The queen becomes furious when she learns that the huntsman tricked her by putting an apple in the box instead of Snow White's heart. The queen has the huntsman thrown into prison and proudly brags about how clever and powerful she is. After dinner, the dwarfs start playing around and joking with each other. In the middle of the fun, a bowl of food falls and lands on Dopey's head. The other dwarfs burst into laughter. But Dopey feels embarrassed and hurt, so he walks out of the cottage, hanging his head in shame. Snow White notices and follows him outside. She wants to comfort him. Even though Dopey doesn't speak, Snow White gently encourages him to express how he feels in another way. She suggests he try using music. Slowly, Dopey starts to whistle a tune. Snow White smiles and joins in the melody. Soon, the other dwarfs hear them and come outside to sing along. The moment brings them all closer together. Later, Snow White walks into the forest alone. There, she runs into Jonathan again, the same bandit she helped escape from the castle. This time, Jonathan introduces her to his group of fellow bandits. They were all once loyal to the king and now live in hiding because they hate the evil queen and her cruel rule. Jonathan is surprised when he learns that Snow White is actually the princess. He had no idea who she was when they first met in the castle. While they talk, a group of the evil queen's guards suddenly appears. They were sent to find and capture Snow White. The bandits quickly help her hide, trying to protect her. But Snow White doesn't want anyone to get hurt because of her. She steps out from hiding and reveals herself to the guards. A fight breaks out. During the chaos, one of the guards, an archer, aims an arrow at Snow White. Just as the arrow is about to strike her, Jonathan jumps in front of it. He takes the hit and falls to the ground. The guards are forced to retreat, and the forest goes quiet. Snow White rushes to Jonathan's side, worried for his safety. Snow White and the bandits carefully carry Jonathan through the forest to the dwarfs' cottage. When they arrive, the dwarfs are surprised to see him injured, but they quickly begin to help. Doc mixes a special remedy using herbs and ingredients from their shelves. He gently treats Jonathan's wound, and after some time, Jonathan starts to feel better. One of the bandits quietly tells Snow White that Jonathan had taken the arrow for her. The dwarfs and bandits all notice something starting to grow between Snow White and Jonathan. They see the way they look at each other and how they care for one another. At first, Snow White denies having any feelings. But as time passes, she and Jonathan begin to spend more time together. Slowly, they realize they are falling in love. However, their peace doesn't last. One day, the evil queen's guards find them again. This time, they capture Jonathan and take him away. He is brought back to the queen's castle and thrown into the dark dungeon. There, he is locked up beside the huntsman, who is still imprisoned for letting Snow White go. The evil queen is furious. She takes Snow White's necklace, the one she always wore since she was a child, and holds it in her hands. Then she disappears into her secret lair hidden beneath the castle. There, she prepares a powerful potion. As she works, she sings to herself, full of anger and pride. When the potion is ready, she drinks it, and her body begins to change. Her beautiful face twists and shrinks, and she transforms into an old, hunched woman. With her disguise complete, she sets off through the forest, planning to take care of Snow White herself, once and for all. One morning, the dwarfs leave the cottage to go work in the mines, leaving Snow White at home by herself. While she is alone, the evil queen, now disguised as an old woman, arrives at the door. She shows Snow White the necklace that once belonged to her, making her believe that Jonathan has been badly hurt. Snow White, worried and heartbroken, listens as the old woman offers her an apple, saying it will bring peace and comfort. What Snow White doesn't know is that the apple has been dipped in poison. The evil queen tricks her into taking a bite. As soon as she does, Snow White begins to feel weak. She stumbles and falls, slowly losing consciousness. Just before she blacks out, the queen reveals her true form and tells Snow White a terrible truth: she had her father killed. Then, Snow White collapses, trapped under the curse of the sleeping death. When the dwarfs return from work, they find Snow White lying lifeless on the floor. They are heartbroken. In their sorrow, they carry her body into the forest and gently place her on a large rock, surrounded by flowers and sunlight, as if she were asleep. Back at the castle, in the dungeon, the huntsman sees how much Jonathan truly cares for Snow White. He decides to help him. Together, they find a way to escape. Jonathan rushes through the forest on horseback, determined to save her. When he arrives, he sees Snow White still and cold on the forest rock. Believing it might be his last chance, he leans down and kisses her. The magic of true love breaks the spell. Snow White slowly opens her eyes and wakes up. The dwarfs cheer with joy and relief. Snow White stands and looks at them with strength. She tells them that now is the time to fight back and take their kingdom from the evil queen. Her courage and hope inspire them all. Even Dopey, who has never spoken a word, finds his voice and speaks for the first time. His brothers are so moved that they agree to stand with Snow White. Together, they prepare to face the queen and bring back the light to their land. Snow White returns to the kingdom, strong and ready to face the evil queen. She stands before all the people to confront the cruel queen. The evil queen angrily summons a sharp dagger and tells Snow White to use it to kill her. But Snow White refuses. The evil queen then orders her guards to capture and execute Snow White. Instead of attacking, Snow White speaks gently to the guards. She calls out their names and reminds them of who they once were, the farmers, bakers, and helpers they used to be before the queen's rule. Hearing this, the guards begin to remember their true selves. They realize they were once good people, and they refuse to follow the queen's cruel orders. They turn against her. The evil queen, furious and desperate, tries to attack Snow White herself. But the bandits and dwarfs rush forward to protect her. With all the kingdom now standing with Snow White, the evil queen has no choice but to run. She flees to her magic mirror for help, with Snow White close behind. But the magic mirror is tired of the queen's evil. It tells her once more that Snow White is the fairest of all. In a blind rage, the queen smashes the mirror. But instead of breaking, the mirror's magic pulls the evil queen inside it, trapping her forever. The mirror then reforms as if nothing happened. Peace returns to the kingdom, just as it was before. Snow White marries Jonathan and becomes the rightful ruler. At last, it is revealed that Dopey, the quiet dwarf, was the one telling this story all along, sharing with everyone how Snow White saved them all. The end. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel.